Good morning, sir. You're Denzel Lewis. And Mr. Lewis, you were previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to the third-degree felony offense of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. The agreement was for a cap of 6 years in prison.
Right from the start, you can feel the weight in the room. A guilty plea, a felony charge, and a 6-year cap already on the table. This isn't just another day in court. This is someone's entire future hanging by a thread.
And looking at the PSI report, Mr. Lewis does have obviously previous criminal history spanning from juvenile and to adulthood. The priors that he has, it appears, with burglary of a habitation. It looks like 3 cases, but they ran concurrently, in which he was placed on probation and had a revocation, in which he was sentenced to 8 years in TDC. He has since been discharged from that, Your Honor, and after being released, there was this traffic stop which resulted in a firearm being found in the vehicle in which Mr. Lewis was driving. Obviously, in reading his response to the PSI officer, I would allow him to elaborate more on that. Obviously, he did plead guilty to the offense, taking responsibility, and we are in this case, Your Honor. We believe that at this point in Mr. Lewis's life, he understands, obviously, being incarcerated before, that it's not somewhere that he wants to go back and spend potentially 6 additional years of his life. He would like this opportunity on probation to have that opportunity to spend and get back on track with employment, to take care of his family and provide for his family. And reading those support letters, Your Honor, he does have support here from family and friends in the community that are willing to step up and help him to make sure that he is a productive citizen and he gets back on track. He understands that there's just certain things with being a convicted felon that he cannot do. And I think at this point he understands that, Your Honor, and we are asking that the court give him the opportunity to be placed on probation and to finish his.
The defense paints Lewis as someone who deserves a second chance. Letters from family, promises of change, the classic appeal that he's ready to turn his life around. And honestly, if you just heard this part, you might feel some sympathy. But courts don't just run on hope, they run on facts and history.
Mr. Lewis, your version of this is that it wasn't your gun, it was in your girlfriend's purse, and you didn't even know her purse was in the car, much less the gun was in the purse in the car. So either you are guilty or you're not guilty of the offense. And so if you knew about it, then you're guilty. If you didn't, then a jury needs to decide.
I'm pleading guilty because I was driving the car, and by me driving and then finding the gun,
But the law, that's not what the law is. Okay? So you don't get to just take a deal or plead guilty because that's what you want to do. When you were here before, you stood in front of that clerk, you put your hand up, swore that you were going to tell the truth, and I said, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily, or are you pleading guilty because you did what they charged you with?
And here's where things crack. The judge calls it out straight. If you didn't know the gun was there, why plead guilty? This isn't just legal talk. It exposes a bigger issue. You can't play both sides. Either you admit guilt because it's true, or you fight it. The judge isn't buying the halfway story.
I think he's been given probation before. It was not successful. He's been revoked. The actions in the jail clearly show he doesn't have any respect for authority or rules. I don't feel like he's a proper candidate for probation. So
the prosecutor hits hard. Probation has been tried before and Lewis blew it. Respect for the law? Non-existent. This is the cold reality. Courts don't like repeat chances wasted.
Mr. Lewis, one thing I noticed in several of these letters that friends and family members said, I think 3 of them actually used the word respectful, that you're a respectful young man. What has been going on in our jail is the furthest thing from respectful that I've seen. The number of times, and the fact that I have to say this out loud, the number of times that you choose to masturbate in front of the officers on purpose is ridiculous.
I speak on that, Your Honor.
Then comes the jaw-dropping part, the misconduct reports. The details are disturbing, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. And notice Lewis' reactions: denial, deflection, excuses. Instead of accountability, he shifts blame. This is where the judge's patience wears thin. You can feel the tension, the image of a respectful young man collapsing under hard evidence.
Sure.
That case wasn't on me. Somebody else had a case, and the woman even talked to the lieutenant to get it removed up off of my file, but it still shows up. That was not on me. It's somebody.
It's more than one time.
But
So hold on. So on April 14th, let's just go through them. On April 14th, you were in trouble for not being in your bunk, that you had been given several orders to go to your bunk. You proceeded to walk around yelling. So that's from April 14th, last week. Then on April 7th, it alleges that you had your hands in your pants, moving in and back and forth, that you were told to take your hands out of your pants, and that you had been told before, or this officer had been briefed on the fact that you were known for doing this. Your response, according to this, is that that person should have asked the officers how big your penis, anyway. Since they want to be talking about you, they should have told them about that too. Then, on March 25th, before that, a week, officer, and these aren't the same officers, it's not the same person saying the same thing about you, somebody has some vendetta against you. So on March 25th, started to do rounds. Notice that you were watching the person doing rounds, had his hand over his midsection as if he was rubbing on himself. March 18th, another different officer. Notice monitoring the bunk. There you are, laying on your back, stroking your penis in a back and forth motion, told not to do so. January 24th, 2025, you're in trouble for walking around. This one, notice the way you're laying on your, making motions under the blanket, walked past, turned around to see if you were still doing it. Then you supposedly look at this officer and say, "I'm not doing anything," while you lifted the blanket up for that officer to see it. January 4th, another time, being told to be quiet, do what you're supposed to do, didn't do it that day. December 29th, another issue of not following the rules. December 17th, another infraction for arguing and not following the rules. So if there was one time when they got the wrong person, that's one thing. That's over and over again, you disrespecting female officers doing their job.
I sleep on my back.
Sir, we're really going to do that?
You asked me and I'm telling you, John, I sleep on my back. I have sisters. I have a mama. I don't do that. Them people write whatever
they're making this up on you. That's terrible of them to do that.
If you look at my cases report, ma'am, I don't have any cases on none of that. I don't have any time. I'm not on no restriction on none of that.
Okay.
Even in prison, the same pattern. Contraband, disobedience, no regard for rules. This isn't about one mistake. It's a lifestyle of ignoring authority. That's devastating.
Do the math. Less than a year. So you did your whole 8 years?
No.
What'd you do in prison to have to do your whole 8 years?
I was in SID.
For doing what?
Just tattooing, contraband.
Not following the rules while you're in prison. I'm going to find
in front of a judge deciding your fate.
that you previously entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Sentence you to a term of 6 years in the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been.
And finally, the sentence. 6 years. What's striking is the judge's tone. Almost saying, you're lucky it wasn't worse. Instead of compassion, it's a warning. Lewis got less than he could have, but the message is clear. Keep ignoring the law and it will only get harsher.
In custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal, and you're lucky that this was the agreement. Mr. Smith was generous. The fact is, you could have been enhanced to a second-degree felony because of your history, and you're lucky you weren't. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Obviously, you know this, but I'm required to read this to you. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long it lasts.
Cases like this remind us, second chances only mean something if you actually take them. The courtroom is where words meet reality. And today, Lewis' history spoke louder than any support letter. It's tough to watch, but it's real.